what you're saying is not good or whatever. He knows what he's saying is good, but he's like, this is for those who are renounced. And then Narad Muni also, he's testing the determination of Dhruva Maharaj. He wants to understand how serious Dhruva Maharaj is in trying to fulfill this determination and desire. And the other point here is that when Uttanapad is approached by Narad Muni, we can actually see that Uttanapad was a very nice king. He was very good, but his weakness towards the attachment, we can call it dependency, codependency, towards his wife Suruchi, became the cause of him behaving in a very inappropriate way. And he's lamenting. He is lamentful. So what we can see here is Dhruva Maharaj is not coming from like a neglected, abused childhood or anything like that. The father loves him very much. See, he's sending out the whole army to go and look for the boy, because nobody expected that Dhruva would do something like this for a little negligence on the part of the himself and the Suruchi. He didn't expect that Dhruva would go away, run away like this from the kingdom. After all, he's the crown prince. Suniti was the older wife. So Suruchi was the younger wife. So Dhruva Maharaj is the first son of Uttanapad, which even on a lineage basis, like for example, there was always
But the father didn't show his love to him. Never showed.
He didn't show. Yeah. It's not that he didn't love him, but he couldn't show it, because it's not that, like, sometimes some people can't because of their nature or something. But in this case, it was his, not Shobha nahi deta, we say, like, it's not right for a king like him to be so controlled by a little woman. Who is she? She's nobody, but still he treated his own son, who's supposed to be the next king of the entire empire. He treated him like that, but he's quickly regretful. He's remembering what a nice devotee Dhruva is. So that's another point for us, that from very young age, if we give Krishna consciousness to the children, naturally they'll develop attachment. And here we can see that Dhruva Maharaj didn't suddenly one day go to the forest and do it out of new information. He always worshipped Narayan. He was already a great devotee of Krishna. So attracting the attention of Krishna is not like impersonal or some sort of a mechanical thing. Dhruva Maharaj already had a relationship with Krishna. So he's able to like focus on the Lord who he knows, the Lord who has protected him. And then we can see how at the same time he's taking shelter of Narad Muni by confessing his mistakes. He's trying to learn his lesson. It's a little late, but one more thing I wanted to mention is, this is one time we are reading. Obviously, it's not only one time. It must have happened several times, and this was the point where it broke Dhruva Maharaj's hope and faith that he had to run away to the forest. Yeah, this is important. Like in our lives too, sometimes it's not one time abuse that hurts us. When it's repeated behavior of somebody in that way, then we try to figure out what is wrong with me, we think, like that. And then we want to go and find some solution. So Dhruva Maharaj is not just spoiled, entitled child who cannot tolerate even one little negligence. Is not that here. It's a bigger issue. Children are very, 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 very smart, very, very sharp, clever. They read your intentions. They can understand when you love them, when you don't, when you treat them badly because you are in trouble, or you treat them badly repeatedly because of something else. They can understand these things. So Dhruva Maharaj is not some spoiled kid who's throwing a tantrum here. He's actually a good boy, and Uttanapad realizes that he's actually a very good boy, and he recognizes that it was his mistake. So sometimes we blame children, but it's actually parents' fault because of the way we raise them, because of the values we give them, because of the way we treat them. we can't blame children, because children are very, very open and flexible and very, very innocent, but they are also very sensitive. You see, kids are very sensitive. Even when they're small babies, they'll not go. If you just go and say, "Oh, kuchi kuchi, come here, you're so cute," they can read your emotions. Less like animals also. They know who has a good heart and who doesn't. Children are also very, very clever. They're very, very clever. But yeah, he's not like an entitled child. It's just that the repeated neglect has caused him identity crisis. Who am I? Am I a prince, or am I just a abused child? Yeah. Nitya Kishori, welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
So Narad Muni is now comforting Uttanapath. So let's see what he says. Someone else likes to read, Nitya Kishori Mataji or Snehavati Mataji, if you have your internet stable.
Mataji, I'm outside. I won't be able to read, but I'll listen.
Okay, no problem. I can read a little bit. Narada stood up and placed a comforting arm on Uttanapada's shoulder. My dear king, there is no need to worry about your son. He is well protected by Lord Narayan. Uttanapad stared at Narada. Narayana? The sage smiled. Let's pause there. Imagine somebody says, "Don't worry, your child is safe with God." It's like, what? Is he dead or what? What is going on? It's so funny, like, and kind of like, what? Narayan? How did Narayan come into the picture? The sage smiled. Your son's greatness is not yet known. He will soon become famous throughout the universe. The king's eyes widened. Yes, said Narada. Dhruva is very competent. He will perform devotional service at a standard difficult even for kings and sages. In a short while he will perfect his service and return home, he will also spread your fame throughout the world. Pause there. Not very good fame, because we all know Uttanapad is a weak king who didn't protect Dhruva. But of course, Uttanapad is the father of Dhruva, and we knew that it was a momentary weakness. King Uttanapad laughed with relief and joy, tears flowing from his eyes. He bowed to Narada's feet and repeatedly thanked him for bringing such good news. Okay, let's pause there again. Sometimes these reversals in our life, it's not purposeless, it's not meaningless. There is nothing unjust. Everything happened in the past, is happening, and will happen in the future. Everything has a purpose, and everything is actually, it has justice of its own. Sometimes we don't see why, what did we do in our previous life to deserve whatever, a family which is neglectful, or the family which is difficult. We do not see, but Krishna very kindly allows us to use these opportunities as a stepping stone towards detachment, as a stepping stone towards ultimate shelter, because when we have nice family people, we always depend on them. I have some experiences with some friends, and even in my own situation, when there's somebody to rely on, immediately we want to rely on that human being and then blame that person or take shelter of that person. But when there is nobody, there's a sense of mental strength that comes due to devotional service, which called out Krishna's name again and again and again, thousands and millions of times over the years. So when we feel that, oh, this person can't help, that person can't help, Krishna is like, but I'm here, my dear child. You can call me anytime. I'll come and help you. So Krishna is putting us through the hardships for a reason, for a higher reason. And here too, there is a higher purpose of Uttanapada's neglectful moments, because it's going to be a cause of something very great. So similarly, everybody, all the great Vaishnava devotees, Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, when they were put through great difficult circumstances, it actually was the door for their greatness to be known. So our weaknesses, our challenges, when it's tested, That is our door for achieving our greatness, to become the best version of ourselves. Because if we have unsupportive family members, it is because we are weak inside to stand on our own, to be self-sufficient, to take shelter of the Lord. So these external situations are pushing us more and more to become strong, to become very dependent on the Lord. Because, the most powerful people are very quiet people. Those who scream and shout and be insecure, they are weak people. So that strength comes from, like Dhruva Maharaj is quietly, he just went quietly to do yagya, to do sacrifice, to do austerity. So we too, sometimes instead of trying to fight outside with people who are negligent towards us or abusive towards us, we build that internal strength. We do those things that make us strong from within, and nothing can shake us. Such a beautiful lesson here. So we will
Mataji,
yes.
I have a question. Like, I'm a little confused. Dhruva Maharaj, when Narada was instructing him, he thought in his mind, right? How come my mother's prayers were not answered? So how can I expect that my prayers will be answered or something like that, right? So is there any answer?
Please repeat it.
Like, I think Dhruva Maharaj thought, right, that my mother's prayers were not answered. So I'm such a little boy. How come my prayers will be answered, right? When
Right.
Narada Muni was instructing him.
Right.
So my question is that, is Narada Muni giving any answer to that question, or there was no answer?
That is the point. That is the point of this whole progress, that Dhruva Maharaj does not have any other option. Same like in our lives. Sometimes we don't have full faith, but we don't have any other shelter either. Yeah, who knows, by chanting Hare Krishna, by studying Bhagavatam, to taking shelter of Krishna, we will find permanent peace. How we know? There's no guarantee. Dhruva Maharaj has no guarantee. My mother's prayer was not answered. She was continuously neglected, abused. And how will my prayer be answered? Of course, along with that doubt, he took this path. So we don't wait for our doubts to be sorted out. We keep doing the right thing, the next right thing. We do not give up. We do not fall back. We do not become weak. Even if our resolve, if our faith is not 100% convinced, we still do the next right thing we know. And through Dhruva Maharaj is doing the next right thing he knows. He trusts Narada. It's not that he has 100% faith. He saw that mother and then he just went. He didn't even know what to do. He was just sitting there. And Narada gave him an advice. If his faith on Narada was the point, he would have followed the first advice. But that was not the point. The point was he wanted a solution to his problem so badly. He was so determined to find the solution that whatever it takes, even if there is no guarantee, he's willing to do it. That's the point. And so Narada Muni didn't even have to convince him. It was the other way around. It's not that Dhruva Maharaj went and said, that's usually us, right? We say, I want this, but I'm not sure. Maybe I should do it, but I have doubts and I'm not sure if I should take initiation or not. If, there are a lot of devotees stuck in that way. I don't know if I should dedicate. I don't know if I should study Bhakti Shastra. I don't know if I should really spend my time studying Bhagavatam. I like it, but I'm not having 100% faith, so we don't do it. We want the Narada Muni to convince us to take shelter of Krishna. But in this case, Dhruva Maharaj is like, no, I know Narayan is my shelter. I don't know if he'll fulfill my desire or not. I can't ask for self-realization and liberation because I'm not at that stage. But I still want to take shelter of Narayan, even if it's a big risk, because Narada said, even sages and all could not attain this. It's very difficult. But Dhruva is like, I know, but I still want to try. I still want to give my 100% in Krishna consciousness. I still want to give everything I have to the last bit to take shelter of Krishna the way I know how best I can do. And Narada helped him in that regard. And it's not that, see, Dhruva Maharaj was not at all overconfident. With this, I will see Krishna. He didn't. He wasn't. Actually, any of the great sages who had Krishna visit them didn't. The demons like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, they were very overconfident. Shiva has to come, because they know that the demigods and like they are obliged to come. If you do certain procedures, Brahma has to come, Shiva has to come. And that's why people don't worship Narayana easily, because Narayana doesn't have any obligation. He won't appear for anybody, everybody. You hear about Shiva will come, Brahma will come. You will never hear about Narayana has to come. Never ever you will hear. Because Narayana is independent. He's not in the material modes. He doesn't have to oblige anybody. No matter how many yagyas and sacrifices and performance you do, he will not come unless you capture him with bhakti. So that's why people say, why you're worshipping Narayana? Why you're going after Krishna? Krishna is most difficult. Why don't you worship some other demigod who will easily come? They will ask like that. Many, like Taruni Radha's grandmother often asks her that, why you chose Krishna? He's very difficult to attain. Why you don't choose somebody easier? So there is no guarantee in this path that Dhruva Maharaj is taking up. But that's us also. How do we know if I follow the instruction of my superior, it will lead me to peace or it will lead me to problem? We don't know. We just have faith. That's why it's called faith. Faith is not based on guarantees. It's not like, oh, every year you will get 15% interest on your money, so put your money here. There is no such thing. There are so many considerations, conditions. You give 100% to Krishna, and then you surrender to Krishna, and then he may disappoint you. He may put you through more difficult circumstances to make you strong. Worshipping Krishna is like that, because he's not like Shiva and Brahma. Oh, we go and say, I want to not die under sunlight, under moonlight. I don't want to die inside, outside. And Brahma has to grant that wish, because it's part of his duty to do that. And then Brahma is not going to consider what your character defects are, or whatever. Are you stuck? Are you arrogant? Are you ignorant? Are you prideful? They don't consider. But Krishna is the only person. He looks, is this desire good for my devotee? No, I'm not going to give. That's why people don't worship Narayan, because he's not obliged. Many, you'll see in Bhagavatam, a lot of them will worship Shiva, Brahma, but they will not worship Narayana unless they are like unconditional surrender type. This is a special story of Dhruva, because Dhruva Maharaj is a different category. He's not in the category of devotees who are 100% pure in their desire, that they only want Krishna. Obviously, Dhruva is not doing this to please Krishna. He's doing this to seek protection, right? He's seeking protection from his dangerous, difficult situation in life. It's very different from any other gods and any other sages and demigods and kings who worship Krishna, because many of them worship just to please the Lord. They didn't have any other conditional motivation, nothing. But in this case, Dhruva Maharaj is innocence. Dhruva Maharaj is taking shelter in such a pure way that he's troubled and he wants help from Krishna. But he's a little bit adamant that he wants help the way he thinks it will solve. He thinks that by getting a kingdom bigger than Uttanapad and bigger than Brahma, he will feel safe and secure. Soon he will realize, but when we take shelter of Krishna, he will not let us go without us learning the lesson. Yes, Dhruva Maharaj is very, very important for us, because we can relate to that inability to want perfection of our spiritual identities, because we have mundane problems that we want sorted out, but we still follow the procedure. Dhruva Maharaj wanted his desire to be fulfilled, but he followed the procedure to the T, like Narad Muni suggested. So even we can follow the path of akama sarvakamo va mokshakama udharati tivrena bhakti yogena. So we perform devotional service whether we have material desire, we don't have material desire, we want protection, we want to just please the Lord, we just want to follow the instruction of Guru, doesn't matter. Action is better than inaction. Go, get up, chant, study, join groups where we discuss and remind each other of this. Be active, take austerity, instead of like somebody was telling me recently, some difficult thing happened in their life, and then they were saying, I've been watching movies. It's like an escape. We don't want to deal with our minds, which is feeling bad. So this person was telling me, oh, I've been watching movies. I want to join the meetings, but I'm having difficulty with my mind. I just keep watching movies. I just waste time. So for that person, the austerity is to, instead of watching movies, join sanghas. There's so many devotees making so many groups and sanghas. Go join those. Or watch devotional videos is hard for this person at this point, but they may need live energy to uplift them, to inspire them. So we do those things, little austerities, even if our motivation is not the purest, but Krishna will protect us. Krishna will give us the next strength to do the next right thing. So relevant, yes. Any other comments before we end for today and continue tomorrow?
I really like that point. I just want to emphasize, you said like Brahma is obliged, right? Other demigods are obliged to give us. He will not check our character defects. But Krishna will think, and you mentioned he will not allow us to go without learning the lesson. I really like that. I mean, if you surrender to Krishna, like he will catch and he will not allow us to go without correcting our mistakes and flaws. It's really profound.
You can see whether it's Daksha or whether it is who is the person I was thinking of? Many examples in Srimad Bhagavatam. Indra, Daksha, Rama, he won't just let them go until they learn the lesson and correct our characters. That's Krishna. That's why he's the Purna, he's a Purushottama and Punya Purusha, Purana Purusha. He's the one who knows past, present, and future. He cares about us the most. And he wants to see that we advance. He doesn't want us to get stuck on mundane things. If we ask for mundane thing, he will not give. Sometimes sometimes we say, I want to marry this person. Krishna doesn't let it happen. Then we're like, but why? Because that person is not good for you. That person is not going to help you. I mean, that was my personal experience. I was worshipping Krishna only. Every day I'll make garland, and every flower I was asking Krishna. I mean, my stronger desire was I want to marry a really nice devotee. The little less secondary desire was I want to marry this devotee. But then Krishna said, no, he knew this devotee is not good for you. And he evicted it. So that's great mercy when Krishna avoids our desires. That's why we have to be, that's why our acharyas again and again and again emphasize, do not pray depending on your desire. Ask Krishna, give me the best. Krishna, may your will, not mine, be done. Because sometimes we may be trapping ourselves in a really wrong situation, wrong, whatever it is, wrong service, wrong marriage, wrong friendship. Sometimes we are trapping ourselves, digging our own grave, so to speak. So that's why we are very careful to ask Krishna, please, your will, may your will be done. And it's okay to approach and say, Krishna, I'm feeling so aggrieved by this situation. Please find a solution that you think is best. That's much more wise. And in Dhruva Maharaj's case also, he's taking shelter in that mood of complete dependence on Narayan. The innocent child is completely dependent on Narayan. But he's very fixed on what he wants. But even with demigods, we have to be very careful. Like when we go to Mahadev, Lord Shiva and all, we shouldn't ask anything because they will give anything. He's Ashutasha. He'll give whatever we pray for. Even Shiva was very instrumental in my, I used to in Madhva Sampradaya, we keep a deity of Krishna on head of Mahadev, Shiva, and we do Abhishek and we do puja and everything. We worship him as a Vaishnava. And when we ask Mahadev for something also, he will give it. But we have to ask very carefully. We should say, my dear Lord Shiva, give me the strength to do Krishna's will. My dear Lord Shiva, give me the taste to chant the holy names. My dear Lord Shiva, please give me the determination and dedication to do Krishna's will. Like that, we should ask things which are wise. If we ask for small, trivial things that will trap ourselves into, then Mahadev will feel bad for us. Actually, especially when we are devotees, Mahadev will be more careful. He won't give us some unfavorable benedictions. He will see, oh, this is a devotee of Krishna. He'll pay attention to us immediately when we ask Mahadev, please, especially with marriage and all young girls, please give me a devotee husband. Mahadev will pay, priority attention he will give for that. But we should be careful. You should not say, this devotee only I want. Then Mahadev will be obliged, and then we will, we may be wasting a lifetime. Better to let the Lord decide. Yeah. Dhruva Maharaj will come to that conclusion. I mean, he's a 5-year-old boy, okay? We are all, already lived our 20s and 30s, and some of us also 40s. So for us, it's like we have learned. But he's a 5-year-old boy. What does he know? He wants what he wants. He wants a kingdom greater than his father and grandfather. So cute, no? So sweet. And Krishna sees that the intention is not, he just wants to feel secure. His intention is not like Hiranyakashipu, who wants to take revenge on Vishnu because he killed Hiranyaksha. He wants to kill him. It's not like that. In Prahlad Maharaj's case, in Dhruva Maharaj's case, it's like he just wants to feel secure. He's not saying, I'm going to do austerity so that Suruchi will die or Suruchi will be neglected by my father. See, he's not tamasik. He's just trying to protect his own dignity. And sometimes we need something like that. Like I'm going to pause the live here. I want to say something private. So